G'day, g'day. It's your old pal Nick here from the Bulldog Fanatic YouTube channel, and welcome back to today's video as we're going to review the game again, coming in a bit later than I wanted, between the Port Adelaide Football Club and the Western Bulldogs, where the Bulldogs just got over the line by 2 points in a really close but agonising contest. Let's get into it. So yeah, the Bulldogs won 10-14-74 to Port Adelaide 10-12-72. 2-point win for the Bulldogs thanks to Harvey Gallia kicking a quick point with like 20 seconds to go. Then the ball got kicked in by Port Adelaide into the middle of the ground, got fisted by the Bulldogs, got into Connor Butterick's lap. He kicked it inside 50 to Will Lewis, and that's how pretty much the game ended, by him kicking a point after the siren to extend the margin to 2 points. So yeah, it wasn't a great game of footy. I hated watching the second half personally. Kicked 1 goal 8 in the second half, but I did say throughout the week, doesn't matter how we win, as long as we get the 4 points and we're in front when the final siren sounds. And the Bulldogs really proved that. They really proved that it doesn't matter how you play, you just got to find the dub. You just got to find a way to get the dub, and that's exactly what we did. One thing that really helped us with the repeat entries was just winning the clearances at key moments. Thought we did a really good job in the midfield, especially in the first half, and it was just nice to see all our midfielders clicking, and we really did beat Port Adelaide in the midfield, and that's why it was one of the big reasons why we won the game, because our midfield was just better. Tim English provided good service throughout the game and allowed our midfields to get into space and really drive the ball inside 50s with nice clean kicks a lot of the time. So it was a really good effort by the midfield. All of Marcus Bontempelli, Ed Richards, Joel Fraser, Riley Sanders, and Matthew Kennedy, for the most part, we'll get to him shortly, were really fantastic in the midfield and did beat Port Adelaide's midfield on the night, despite Zach Butters having a fantastic game himself for the Power. So the game clearly wasn't without its flaws, and there were quite a few. Buku Kamas, yeah, again, that wasn't a great defensive display by Buku. He was trailing off Georgiades so many times. It just doesn't help Georgiades. It's just too big and strong. And he got Buku several times on the lead or in a one-on-one marking contest. It's just with the situation with James O'Donnell and Rory Lobb still out with hamstring injuries, it just allowed Buku. It just had to mean Buku was our number one key defender against Mitch Georgiades, and oh boy, it wasn't great to watch. It's just he doesn't have the height or the strength to go with Georgiades, and it showed. And it went for Mitch Georgiades being a little incompetent with his set shots, kicking 4 goals 5. He'd be winning the Coleman, and more importantly, Port Adelaide would have won that game, and probably some more games, because they've had some very close losses this year. That was their 4th loss by under a kick, or something like that. So yeah, we got a bit lucky there with Mitch Georgiades being a bit incompetent from the set shots. But hopefully the defence stabilises in the upcoming weeks, as James O'Donnell and Rory Lobb will be returning, not this week against Carlton, but the week after against the Demons. I want to speak about this man, as usual, every week, the GOAT, Marcus Bontempelli again. He was even better this week, than against Freo, because against Freo, especially in the second half, he did slow down quite a bit. Freo did a good job of stopping quelling his influence, and the sore heel that Bevo pointed to earlier in the week was quite apparent in the last quarter, but not the case against Port Adelaide. He actually had a slowish start to the game compared to his opposition captain Zach Butters, but at the end of the day, Bont pretty much matched the same amount of disposal with Butters, and his impact in the second half was fantastic. He was one of the few Bulldog players in the second half, in my opinion, who was cool, calm, and composed in tight situations, and didn't make too many errors with the ball compared to a lot of his teammates. So it's just every week I grow admiration for this guy, and I just don't get sick of watching him. I will glaze him, till the day I die. So yeah, just awesome game from him. He got 9 coaches' votes, which was good to see, and hopefully it's 3 Brownlow votes on Brownlow night. But without Bont, we would not have won that game. And I'm so glad Bevo didn't rest him. He was pondering if Bont should be rested, earlier in the week, but he didn't get rested despite barely training again. And what a great decision that was, because without Bont, we do not win that game. Now, I'm an absolute idiot and forgot to record this with the camera earlier, but I have to mention Michael Selwood. 17 disposals, 10 marks, including 6 of them intercepted. Amazing game. 370 metres gained as well. He was so valuable to us in defence. And I've said this for quite a few weeks now. I think he's been our best defender this year. In terms of like purely defending, he's been our best so far in that aspect. It was just so good to see him just step up to another level. I remember that sticks out to me was early in the last quarter. Ball was going down. Port won it on the wing. You know, it was almost a Buku Kama Smith Georgias 1-on-1. Georgias got away from Buku, but Michael Selwood came over the top just as Georgias was about to take an easy over the head mark, but he didn't because Michael Selwood fisted it through for a rush behind. It was beautiful to watch, and that's the type of 1%ers that Michael Selwood does. So he was fantastic, and God, he's so fun to watch. He's top 5 in the league for intercepts, which is crazy because he's only his first full year of footy, and he's only 22. Amazing. Now, I don't want to point out this individual for the wrong reasons, but I have to mention him, even though it was his 150th. Yes, Matthew Kennedy plays 150th. He had 25 disposals, 6 clearances. Not a bad game. He played pretty well for most of the game, except late in that last quarter. Now, first of all, this was probably a very unfortunate accident, but he kind of took out Tim English with he and Timmy having a head clash, you know, in the center of a ground, which wasn't great. And Timmy was off for the rest of the game having a scat test, and he failed that. So he didn't play the rest of the game, and he will not play against Carlton this week because he's under the concussion protocols, which is not ideal. But then, probably something more diabolical, I was more angry with Matt Kennedy happened, that it truly could have cost us the game. So for context, Port Adelaide just missed a shot with 3 minutes to go. It is 7 points. Bailey Dale takes a kick in, kicks it to like the far side of the ground. It was a beautiful kick in to Matt Kennedy, and it was like an absolute spear, and it was fantastic. It was a pretty comfortable hike by Matt Kennedy. I don't know if he was feeling the pressure from his opponent in Christian Moraes, who wasn't too far away, or that like it was the game situation. I don't know, but Matt Kennedy felt a little bit of pressure. Christian Moraes dropped the mark, then trying to get the ball back, he held Christian Moraes without the ball in his hands, gave away that, and then put out a kick inside 50, and then Matthew Kennedy downfield pushes his opponent, so Port Adelaide having a guaranteed shot at goal from like 20-25 out on a slight angle, and funnily enough, his former Carlton teammate Corey Durden had the shot and kicked it, and it brought back to 1 point. I was like, Matthew Kennedy, what are you doing, man? And it's like a 30 seconds there he would love to forget. And he did say in the interview on Fox Footy that, gee, I was a bit lucky there, So he could laugh it off after the game, but yikes, there was a few moments to forget there for Matt Kennedy's 150th, but I'm very happy that he's a Bulldog, and congratulations to 150 games for Matt Kennedy over 3 clubs. Once again, it was nice to see some of the small forwards have some really good games in Riley West and Artie Jones. Riley West has kicked 2 goals again this week, so it's really nice to see 2 really crucial goals, including our only goal in the second half. So that's nice to see. He did a few silly things, Riley West, that he kind of has been doing this year, where he's been trying to take too many on and getting caught holding the ball. He does that a bit, Riley West, and it's getting really annoying, but at least he kicks some snags and provides some great pressure this week. So he's getting back to the 2025 Riley West, which is good to see. And Artie Jones a few times went for Mark of the Year, a few times, which I'm not a massive fan of. When he tried to do a little too much, Artie Jones, but he did kick a goal. And once again, any time he's near the ball, I just feel like something's going to happen. And of course, he was the guy that kept it in, that gave it to Harvey Gallagher for the match-winning point. He kept it alongside the boundary line in that tight right forward pocket at the city end of the ground. So he was the one that, helped us get the win in the end with, just his good ground level, instincts as a small forward and providing the handball to Harvey Gallagher to kick the match-winning point. So yeah, our small forwards, once again, pretty good. Look, what do I take from that game? Are we a premiership contender? In my opinion, no. It showed a game between 2 middling sides. Only probably one of them will make the wild card round. That game didn't give me a lot of confidence that we're back and what we were in the first 4 games of the year. I'm not sure, but a win's a win. That's all that mattered. And it was good to see, Zach Butters and Bont go head-to-head, and it was a fantastic matchup, and both of them were awesome to watch. But yeah, skills level, It's just that second half. Watching the replay a couple of days ago, watching that, especially that second half, that was just like the amount of errors, especially going inside 50, were just like comical. Like we could barely hit a target going inside 50 in that second half, and it was just like, man, we should have won that game by a lot more. Like for real, we should have won that game more. We should have won that game by a lot more. But because some of our skill level going inside 50 wasn't the best, it allowed the Power to stay in the game. But anyways, we take the W, and I don't want to watch that replay ever again, except the Bont highlights, of course. Those Bont highlights are very, very good to watch. Final thoughts on this game is, well, I'm glad we got a positive win ledger again. Our percentage is still not good. We gained 0.9%, so that's terrific. But I'm just happy we got the win. It's unfortunate Tim English got concussed during the game. Friendly fire with Matt Kennedy. But it is what it is. Now we have Carlton this Saturday, when Michael Voss has just resigned. So that's definitely not adding stress and anxiety. You know, the dead cat bounce game. Definitely not. Anyways, we'll see what happens. But I'm happy we got the win on Friday night, and let's move forward to the Blues on Saturday night at Marvel. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, go you mighty Bulldogs. See you next time.